area. This is a space where we can all cook together. Having meals together is really important, and as a family. So we all gather in here. We all sit either outside or in here. Communal areas basically. Cool. Come this way. It's all part of the communal area. We're gonna have laundry rooms. We're expecting about 20 to 30 people to come join us here as it is now. And when we do extend next door, then we can accommodate at least another 20 or 30 people, depending on the resources that we have. But we've just got to make sure that we're managing the resources with the people. We don't want to have too many people, not enough resources, and overpopulated. So we've got to really manage it. So there's this house here. The downstairs area is communal. There's an apartment upstairs. Which I can show you actually. There's an apartment upstairs which we're living in at the moment. We're going to convert it into a 3-bedroom apartment for someone to live in there. Sorry about the mess, we're moving in at the moment. So we'll turn this into an apartment. We'll put a bathroom, toilet, and we could have either a family or a few people to share in here. There's an upstairs attic as well.
Oh, cool. It's a nice space.
Yeah, nice space, isn't it? Or possibly it could be another communal area. We're going to have lots of children in the community, so this could be a school, a little school. A nursery or something like that. And
amazing.
Yeah,
nice.
which is probably what it will be in the long term, actually. Something like that.
So the mystery school, is that going to be like just in general, or is it actually going to be a building, or?
Yeah, there will be a building eventually. Again, it's all dependent on resources. But as we expand and as we grow, like we're saying, we'll have different elements of the mystery school. We'll have the esoteric and occult mystery school, which is the sciences. We'll have a mystery school for the gardeners. There's a lot we need to learn about the plants and gardening and things. So there'll be a mystery school that'll be separate with that. There'll be a mystery school for the those who are into cosmology and astrology. So there will be different. It's almost like a university where everyone will find their place within the community.
Will you teach things like law of attraction?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the astrology side. Which is what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about energies and people and understanding how energies work, whether it's human energy or whether it's cosmic energy. How does that all work? How do we all interact with the plants and with each other, and how do we influence reality? That's really astrology. That's what real astrology is.
Okay.
So in the outside world, we've been trained to think astrology is reading the stars and what's your birthday, and it's a bit more complex than that. It's a bit more. It's much, much wider than that.
Interesting.
Astrology is just understanding energy. The star. We are stars within us. The stars up there are stars. Everything's a star. It's consciousness. How does consciousness work? How do seasons work? If I do this, what happens? Cause and effect. And why does that happen?
Which calendar we teach?
We will create our own calendars.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of all of this. We want to redefine everything we've been taught and told. Really, everything that we know out there is a lie.
Yeah.
And when people come and join, we always say to people, or I always try and say to people, don't forget everything you've been told. Use it as a spine, but ultimately, do not use anything that you learnt out there. Create your own. Figure things out your own. There are truths that we've not been told, but you won't see those truths if you're focused on the lies that you've been told. You've got to let go of those lies and say, I'm going to look at this completely differently now, with my own eyes. Again, we are God. You have all the answers within you. You can figure it out yourself. Right?
Yeah.
So we've got to scrap everything and start again, and then let our own genius, unlock the genius within you, yourself.
Yeah.
Once you find your niche, what can you create? Something new, something original. We want originality, and that's what this mystery school is about. It's not about you're coming here so that we teach you something, which is the archaic way of doing things.
Yourself.
It's about we're going to teach you how to teach yourself.
Yeah.
That's where the real magic is.
Beauty,
Yeah. What are you into? I'm into crystals, but I don't know what they are. Well, we don't know what they are. But what we're going to do is we're going to unlock things in you that you're going to figure out what crystals do. There's something that they do. There's some, and then we've got people who are working with magnets and copper. Who'll be like, oh, hang on a minute. You're doing crystals, you're doing copper, and maybe these two things work together somehow. And then you get together and you're like, oh, when you make a Tesla coil and you put this type of crystal in it, it creates electricity. You know, it could be things like that. And that's the ethos of what we want to do.
Removing all the information and all the division.
Absolutely.
That has occurred since birth.
Yeah. Absolutely. Really unclogging and starting again and
letting us hit our true potential.
True potential, yeah. What are we capable of? How far can we take this? That is what it's all about. Just like in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, this is what we
Same
did.
school.
Same school. And if we get into the mystical side of things, the real esoteric side of things, this event that is going to happen, if you're in the right place and you've done the right work, it's like I'll use the macrocosm example. You know, every year we have flu season. We have this season where everyone catches a cold and everyone's, you know, purging, runny nose and coughing. What is that?
I would say it's man-made.
What is that?
Yeah.
So the esoteric answer, or what we think it is we think it's Mother Nature upgrading. So every year there's this frequency. It's not a virus. Viruses don't exist. It's a frequency that changes in the air. And what it does, it says, you've all been polluting yourself. You've all been destroying yourself. I'm going to come in and I'm just going to wipe out and heal. So if you're too toxic, the cold will kill you. If you're a little bit toxic, you'll get a little bit sick and you'll get better. And after a cold, how do you feel? Amazing. I feel great. I've just had a cold and all of a sudden, I feel amazing. I feel better than before the cold.
So you're saying it's a cleanse?
Yeah.
It's a cleanse.
And usually the reason why,
cleansing.
and usually the reason why is because when you do get a cold or something, you lose your appetite. So you've stopped eating. You've stopped
fasting naturally. It's nature doing it. So these are small resets that happen every year. It's a reset. So what's happening now in December, this is the big corona, the big flu, the big cold. This is the mother of all colds. This is the big one. If the ones that we have every year are 10%, this one is going to be 90%. This is the real coronavirus.
You believe in the corona?
The real one. The one that we've had now has been a lie. It's been fake. It's been a practice. They've been practicing. But there is something that's coming, a cold, a corona, a crowning, that is coming in December, that will be the real thing.
Okay.
That will, if people are too toxic, they will die. Mother Earth will say, you're parasites. I'm wiping all the parasites off. Right? But those who are prepared, it will upgrade your DNA. It will just lift everything. So if you're operating at 13%, let's say, of your optimal DNA, when this cold comes and you purge and you go through whatever you're going through, after that cold, after that event, you might now be at 20%. And all of a sudden you're doing things, or you're able to perceive things you couldn't 4 days ago. And you're like, what is... Just like all the superhero movies, depending on how much work you've done. And those that have done the most amount of work, obviously, that's the most you're going to activate. And there will be people who are going to have literal superpowers, which goes into the whole thing of why they're telling people to social distance. Once you understand this, you're like, I can see why they're doing what they're doing. Social distancing, contact tracing apps, making sure that if you notice someone is behaving weird, report them. Because they know there are some people that are going to be so activated, they are literally physically going to become superhuman. Super strength, super speed, super memory, super whatever. There are people that are going to have those things, but they're going to be labeled in the matrix as mutants or as weird or as they're sick, they're not well, they need to be removed from society because obviously, you know, the world is not quite ready for that world. And they will be sent out to places like this. So there will be people in this community who will become superhuman. I'm sure of that. And it's happening already now. There are things that some of us are doing now that we're thinking, what the hell? And I'm doing something a bit supernatural here. And this will exponentially happen over Christmas, I think.
Well, look what happened to you after your ayahuasca retreat. After that cleanse, all the cleansing you had to do before going there and then doing it.
What's the big deal with December 21st?
So December 21st is, astrologically, it's when we are changing seasons consciously. So, like I said, everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm. So you know how we have seasons, summer, winter, spring, autumn, every year? And during every season, everything changes. You know, if you come from the summer and you're going to the autumn, the food changes. Or the winter, you start eating wintry foods where you were eating summery foods before. You start dressing differently. You start socializing differently. You're now outside drinking your beers rather than inside the pubs in the winter. So everything changes, right? When seasons change. It's exactly the same thing on a macrocosmic level. These, we have seasonal changes. And a lot of the ancient cultures call them the ages. The Vedics call them the Kali Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, the Tetra Yuga. Some people call the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age. And these ages are periods where we transition and we must change. And this is what's about to happen now. And the Mayans predicted this, that on the 21st of December 2012 is a change of the season. And this year is 2012, it's not 2020. Actually, that's the original calendar. So we're in 2012. So this is when the apocalypse will happen. Apocalypse just means unveiling. The unveiling will happen. We're now changing season. So those who are in season and know how to prepare for the season, obviously will do better. So for instance, if you knew, if it's summer right now and everyone's dressed like this, and you knew that in 2 months' time, we're going to go straight from summer into winter, what would you start doing? Preparing. Let's buy gloves and let's buy jackets and let's buy stuff for that. Firewood. Let's prepare for the season. This is how the elites have controlled the world. They don't prepare. No one knows what's coming. We're not prepared. So they're preparing things for us because we're not responsible enough to prepare things for ourselves. So they know what's coming and they're preparing everything for us. We're saying we want to prepare things for ourselves because we know what season we're getting into. So we're doing all these things in hindsight of what's coming. Right? So we're changing the way we view money and the way we use money and say, oh, in the old season, the way to use money was to start a business and invest and see your return and then you grow. That was the business model for that season. But the season's changing, the business model has to change. So how we're using our money, how we're running this business that we're in has got to be in season with what's about to come. So December the 21st is a changing of the season. This cold will come, it will rewrite everything, and officially we will now be in a completely different season, a new age, and everything will change. Everything will change. Within ourselves as human beings, within the matrix, the new world order. This is why it's called the new world order. They're telling you it's new. We need to reorder the world into something new. It's not a bad thing. You know, we're all programmed to think it's not bad, it's good. We want a new world order because we're now in a new season. We're now in a new age. We want a new age. We want all those things. So that's what that date is about. That date is a shift in consciousness, spiritually, mentally, but also physically. So for instance, petrol cars in the new age cannot be used anymore. We're now in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is the age of air, right? It's the age of harnessing energy out of the air. So you'll see all the electric cars after the event, a year from now, these cars won't exist on the road anymore. Even in the Matrix, they will remove all those things and they will bring completely new ways of doing things. So there'll be a lot of confusion to begin with because, as you can see, lots of moving parts. People are going to be activated at different levels, at different stages, in different places. So it's about knowing your place, knowing yourself, knowing what you want, and being in the right place. So for instance, if you are on the spiritual journey and you are cleansing and you are consciously aware of what's coming and you're in tune with these energies, these frequencies, these resonances, and you're raising yourself as this is happening, but you're in the matrix, when this event comes, it will upgrade you, but you're in the wrong place. You'll be a mutant. They'll see you as weird, as strange. The FEMA camps, you'll be put in FEMA camps because you're not in the right place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So it's not to say that it's bad what you've done. It's just that you're just not in the right place. You need to be out here in nature because you're becoming supernatural. So you need to be in super nature.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't be supernatural in an artificial world. You're out of place. And you can't be artificial in a supernatural world. So again, there are people, if you know I'm not ready for this deep spiritual stuff, I'm not prepared mentally, spiritually, I need to stay in the matrix. Like Pione, for instance, something's telling him, I'm not there yet. I've got some work to do. I'll be out of place. I'll be out of place, but I can see the vision. I need to do what I'm doing. When the time is right, I know I'll be led. Something's telling me I'll come and I'll join. But for now, I've got some things I need to work on. So he's honest with himself. Because if people come here and you're in a supernatural event, you'll be triggered really badly. And we've had that. We've had people come and they've gone, yeah, and then they get here and it's just too much for them. It's too intense. Because there's still so much work they need to do before they can get to that supernatural state. A lot of people can't have this conversation we're having. It's too much for them. It's scary. It's, what are you talking about? This is scary. You know? And that's not a bad thing. It's, well, you're not in the right place. You need to find your place. Where do you need to be? You need to be here. These are your people. This is your tribe. And that's where you'll grow from.
Yeah, of course.
You know? So it's about being honest with yourself and knowing where you need to be. And that's what this event is about. It's about reorganizing. Who goes where, find your place, you know, separating the wheat from the chaff. We'll have 3 or 4 years of, you know, complete division and separation while everything has been organized. And then 2024, 2025, then the world will start to, right, okay, something's just happened in the world, something huge. How do we now come together as a collective, matrix and supernatural? How do we now start working together somehow? How do we find a middle ground? But that won't be until a few years. So this place and other places like this are places of refuge, or places or spaces where we can really harness, or time where we can really harness what we need to be harnessing and what we need to be doing in preparation for.
Yeah, it's prepared.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's do the tour. So we've got another house over here. The people that we bought the place from, Uta and Peter. So Peter has been here for 30 years. He bought this place with his family in 1990 with the same vision that we have now. He realized, shit, something's not right in the world and something's coming. I don't know what it is, but something's coming. I need to leave where I am. He was in New Zealand. He sold everything. I need to go somewhere. He ended up in Portugal. He was like, I need to buy a farm. He bought this farm and he started growing all kinds of things in preparation 30 years ago.
Wow.
And then all these years he's gone on and, you know, nothing's really happened until now. And it's funny how things work. You know, this year is the year that it's happening, and he's become a bit, he can't maintain it. He's really old and his legs, and he's like, well, I need to sell it and downscale. And yeah, he's done all this in preparation really for us, really. That's what this was all about. So what he's done is really amazing and really thankful.
It's his life's mission, isn't it?
It's his life's mission, yeah. So he's here. So, you know, we said to him, look, you're welcome to stay for as long as you like. So he's staying in that house at the moment. You know, help us transition, because it's all overwhelming for us as well. We've never done this before. So he knows the land. He knows how things work. So there's a nice transitional period that we're going through right now where he's handing over the reins, and he might stay and join the community. I don't think it's quite for him because he's not quite there just yet. But certainly he's here to hand over the reins and help us transition, which is fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
So he's in there at the moment in that house. But yeah, that'll be a house where one of the families will live, probably my family, or if there's a bigger family, or a communal area, depending on how things go. But these are the 2 main buildings on the land, these 2 houses. Then there's a small cottage over there that Martina and Tosta are living in. And then we've got workshops as well. I'll show you this over there. Yeah, so we've got this workshop. This is something Marcel built. This is what we're talking about. This is called a Bedini wheel. And yeah, and this is magic. What's happening here? Without realizing, my son would explain it better. Yeah, this is magic. So you've got these magnets over here. You've got this copper coil. You've got batteries down here. You connect these, you connect the wires to the battery and you create a circuit. And just using this perpetual motion, you can recharge any battery.
Wow.
Amazing.
Right? So somehow, it's not on. So somehow, energy passes through, comes through the magnets or comes through the copper. And these magnets, with the electricity, inductive electricity in here, these magnets change the electricity from induction to radiation.
Wow.
Something's happening here in between this space. So when someone says, show me spirit, that's spirit. What's happening? How is the electricity changing from induction to radiation? With nothingness here, just with this motion, something's happening there.
That
Oh yeah,
magnet
yeah,
stopped.
yeah, yeah.
Did it?
It stopped. It just turned it off.
Yeah.
So there you go. Real spirit.
There's something happening here that we don't understand. And when we understand how this thing works, and this is not new, there's the guy who invented it is called Bedini. He invented it in the 60s, I think. And he died not knowing. It was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. But something's happening. We don't understand what's happening here. And scientists don't understand what's happening. How is this happening? This is free energy. Something's happening between the copper and the magnet.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
creating free energy.
That was dope.
Right? So it's stuff like this that we're really going to be working on. And then we've got workshop over here. Again, everything's necessary in the process of moving, but we'll extend to all of this. We'll have proper big workshops where people can do woodwork or build things. Got lots of wood on the land, so we can source our own wood and build our own structures from wood on the land. They're self-sufficient, which is fantastic. And then over here, again, we've prepared. Again, we've prepared. We've got food storage. We've got food storage for rainy day. Lots of grains and seeds. So if anything ever happens out there in the world, then we can at least be self-sufficient for a few months. We can feed the community or feed ourselves. So we're continually building on this. So this is full of food. That's full of food, as you can see. And as and when funds are coming, we're just adding to the food supplies, so that when the time comes, which is happening already, when they say, right, you can't go into Lidl's anymore until you've got your vaccine and your chip and whatever, then until our gardens are fully self-sufficient, then at least we've got something we can live on in between. And then once the gardens are going, then there's no need for stocking food because we'll just be eating off the land. Yeah, but we have to think. For now, we're not yet there, so we need to prepare. So this is really, really important, this food supply. Yeah, so people who are investing, this is one of the big investments we need to make. We spent 22 grand so far. All the food in here is worth 22,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 22,000 euros. That's all the food that's in here. So,
wow.
Yeah, really important. Yeah. I'll just close this door actually. Another day at Pineal.
Yeah. Get that lean system going.
Yeah, so there's a lot to do, but you know, with the right people and the right resources, we can do a lot quickly, which we have already. We certainly have loads of ideas. That's not an issue. So these are the gardens. This is where the gardens start. At the moment, this is where Peter and Ute were growing food. So we're going to start again. We're going to just bulldoze everything and start a fresh new garden from scratch. Do it properly. And the gardens will start here, going out the land that way. We're going to put a big geodome here. Nice big huge geodome here. This will be another communal area. Again, similar to that, but maybe a little bit bigger than the house. Because as we grow, obviously, if we've got 50 people on the land, they're not all going to be communing in there. So a nice big geodome here where people can commune in the winter or wherever it is, and we have meals together. We can do yoga, whatever we're going to do. And it's near the pool as well, so we'll make it all look nice and put lawn and really make it look beautiful. You know, grow plum trees and all kinds of things. So yeah, the gardens will be here. They'll be all fenced off and done nicely.
Yeah, 15.
Then we've got the field over here. So again, we'll extend the gardens over here. So all of this will be food, all here. We've got a big glass geodome coming. Spent about 100,000 on this thing. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. 10 meters high by 10 meters wide. So it's going to fill most of that field over there. And we're going to grow tropical plants in there. You know, pineapples and coconuts and all the tropical stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be able to grow over here. So that's going to be a beautiful little project that we're going to do there. And depending on investment, you know, we'll maybe get more. If we get more money, build 3 or 4 of them and have beautiful, 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 crazy tropical garden, like the Eden project in England. You know,
Cornwall, right?
Cornwall, yeah. Maybe a miniature version of that. That's kind of like the vision. So this will all be garden space leading up to the top there. So we'll walk around. So there's loads of places again for geodomes for people. It's even on this land right now. All these are fruit trees. This is an orchard, small orchard. The land, I'll show you the border. Can you see where those shimmering, yeah, that's where the border is. The border goes up this way, and that little valley goes up to the top, to that post over there, the electric wire, round all the way up to the road.
Where's the land that's for sale?
The land for sale is that guy's house, and it goes all the way back to the other side. We'll take a little tour later, and it squares off up the road, but it's pretty much exactly the same size as this land. But it's a beautiful piece of land, lots of water, because water is the most important thing. And this is why we really fell in love with this place. There's 7 wells, all of them have got clean water, so we will never run out of water no matter what happens. One of them is gravity fed, so it literally, it's like a stream, it just runs, and that's what feeds the pool. So it comes from a spring, and it just runs all day long, like a waterfall or a spring, into there. So even if electric went or the solar wasn't working, we'd always have clean water running.
That's the fuel.
The community, and that's the fuel. Once you have the water, you have, you're good. And it's the same thing next door. He's got the same thing. He's got 2 springs and 7 wells, so lots of water. If we had both properties, we'll have 14 wells and 3 springs. I mean, abundance of water. We could turn this into a rainforest.
Literally.
We really could.
Which is an idea.
Which is really
Permaculture,
good.
right?
A little, what's it called, microclimate. So a lot of guys, we've been talking in our meetings, and they're saying we can do it. They've done it in the desert, where they've created a little, have you seen this, oasis in the middle of the desert. They've gone in and they've created like a tropical forest. bang in the middle of the desert. So they do that in Siberia.
That's really giving back to the mother.
So we could do that here. We could start from here with all this water, all this knowledge that people are bringing. We could start a little tropical forest here, and all this would be lush, green, not dry as it is now, because obviously we're not doing things right. And we could start from here and spread out. That's the vision. We want to turn this into a beautiful little paradise, and we can do it quite quickly.
Yeah?
Yeah,
It can be done, yeah.
it can be done. Yeah, so yeah, the land just goes all around. So we'll build geodomes, you know. You can just picture it now, you know, geodomes, people living and, you know, dotted all over the land, going right round our little geodome village. Some earth bag houses here and there, some greenhouses dotted around. Yeah, that's the vision. That's the vision.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've got 6 geodomes coming next week. 5 of them are living spaces and communal spaces, and one of them obviously is the big green glass one. We're putting solar system at the moment. We've got electric. We're connected to the grid. So we've invested 25,000 in a solar system. So we're going to be completely off the grid. Right now the water is off grid. All the water is from the land, so it's all plumbed. It's all from the tap straight from the ground. So it's all clean. It's all filtered. So the next thing is the electric, which we'll be doing end of the month. So we'll put a big solar system that will feed most of the village. Obviously, as time goes, we'll need to expand as more people join. But for now, this system will definitely feed 30 to 50 people easily, energy-wise. And then we've got our own energy. We've got our own water. We've got our own food. As you've seen, the stock that we have. We're starting the gardens very soon, so we'll get that going. There's already quite a lot of fruit trees here. Like I said, when Peter came 30 years ago, one of the first things he did was plant fruit. So most of these trees you see are fruit trees. So within season, in spring and in autumn, they all start flowering and producing fruit. But it's not yet all year round, obviously. So once we have the geodomes, then we'll have a situation where we've got fruit. Like even now, we'd be able to go into the geodomes and be eating mangoes and coconuts and everything else. You know.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it.
Beautiful.
So we'll go this way, and then I'll show you the land that's for sale next door. We'll have a talk about that. Yeah, it's a really beautiful place here. So we come down here over here. Apparently there's this spring. This is why it's so green over here. There's a spring over here, a natural spring. And near the front of the house, Peter had started digging a big hole, probably the size of this place. And he wanted to put a little pond or a lake, a small lake. So that's something that we're quite, looking forward to doing. So we'll redirect the water from this spring, going down to that lake, and we'll have a little lake on the land, which will be
That will just keep feeding.
keep feeding off that lake.
Beautiful.
So that's something else that we're really excited about doing, a little project, and maybe even expanding. I mean, if the resources are right, we could build a proper big lake. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really big lake. And that could be like the nice little hub where all the water is channeled to that lake, and you know, we can really thrive and live in abundance. That's that.
You saw a great lake yesterday, didn't you,
know,
bro?
it's not,
Yeah, more than possible.
yeah. And they don't need much financial investment. Like we're saying, you know, we have this thing in the matrix where we think, oh, building a lake, you need all this money, and absolutely not. It's a lot easier than we think. Once you start doing things, it's like, well, actually, you know, the matrix overcomplicates everything. you know, if you've got the resources and the human and the manpower, you could do a lot really, really easily, and the knowledge as well, and the knowledge.
Well, the Matrix teaches us to overcomplicate things.
Absolutely, yeah.
We do it ourselves.
Overcomplicate. Yeah, so the land goes all the way, like I said, down the ridge. So, you know, geodomes everywhere. There's another orchard over here, and it goes up to the road. Yeah, and we're hoping to expand because all of this is for sale, all that land. So we want to buy as much as we can and extend as much as we can over time as people join and bring resources. Someone will say, I've got some money, I'll buy some land over there and, you know, contribute, and someone else will come and we'll just become this one big village. Eventually, which is the next stage, is once we're organized and we've bought this land and we've done all of these things, going back into the law side of things and becoming sovereign, we will open a trust of some sort, which is what all the elites do. You know, the royal family, they've got the Windsor Trust. And a trust is the best way to really secure your sovereignty. So at some stage we'll sit down, we'll put all our assets into one big trust officially, legally. It'll be a legal document. And a trust just basically means there's no owner, no one owns anything. At the moment there's this perception that when you buy land, you own the land. No one owns any land. I don't know if you know this. It's just a lease, which is why this is why we pay taxes and stuff. So under martial law, technically a government can come and confiscate your land because they own it. They can say, well, the rules have changed. We're under martial law, which is what's going to happen with this new crash. A lot of people are going to lose their homes, especially people who have multiple properties in the Matrix. We're heading into the Aquarian age, which is an age of equality and sharing and communism and socialism. So martial law for sure will be declared at some point once the event happens or something happens, and they will take all the property off anyone who has more than what they need. Oh, you've got 10 properties, you don't need 10. There's only one of you. Stay in the one you have. These other 9 are now state owned, and we're going to give them to people who need, the homeless people, people who don't have houses. And that's very Aquarian. So what we want to do is, there's a way around that, is you open a trust. And a trust just basically means the elites know it's impossible for anyone to own land because no one lives forever. You can't own something if you're not going to live forever. So everything is in trust anyway. So right now, when you buy land like this land is in trust to the government. And then you lease it from the government. So you buy a lease. Oh, we've given you 300,000. We're now going to lease it for 99 years. But the government is trusting the land on behalf of the universe. So what you want to do is you free the land. You open your own trust. So you go through a legal process where you start a trust and you say, right, government, we're taking the trust off your hands. We're now creating our own trust off this land, and we're putting our land, our assets, and even ourselves into the trust that is here. It's no longer owned by anyone. It's now owned by a trust, which is a government.
Which they can't take.
Which they can't take now. Because you're now, and this is why in England, you know, a lot of those properties are owned by the National Trust. That's why they've done that. So that land is not owned. There's no owner. It's just in trust. But there is someone who is the trustee of that land.
Of course.
So once we've done that, everyone who's in the village is a trustee. We're all trustees. So when they come and say, who owns this? Who's the trustee? We all are. Why are you the trustees? Well, because we're the ones working the land. We're the ones building here. We're the ones living here. So we're trusted by the universe to look after this land. And that's how you create sovereignty and freedom. Then you create your own constitution, your own laws, your own flag, which is matrix stuff that you have to do. But we'll do all of that. This land is in trust. It's a separate state. We've got our own coat of arms. We're now independent. We're now free. And then we go to the UN and we declare, and it's nothing new. Loads of people do it. A lot of the elites, which is why the Rothschilds have a shield, the red shield, the Rothschilds, which is why everything's in trust. You will never ever find property the Rothschilds own. They don't own anything. It's all in the Rothschilds' trust. They've done that on purpose. They know exactly what they're doing. So we just want to follow the same model. They're not doing anything bad. They're just following the rules. But they don't tell everyone else what those rules are.
Of course. And
you do the same thing with your cars. You know, this is why the Queen has no number plate on her cars. And even some gypsies have cottoned on this. Some gypsies drive with no number plates, and they're allowed to do that because they've picked up on this. They put everything into a trust. And once it's in a trust, your car is in the trust, the roads are in a trust. That's why your car has to be registered and you're the registered keeper of your car. But you put it into a trust, then the registered keeper is the trust. So even if they give you a ticket, they're not giving you the ticket, they're giving the trust the ticket. But who's the trust? It's nobody.
Yeah.
The trust, no one exists. And that's how it works. So this is where we want to go eventually. People will buy land, and for now, of course, because we're still in the matrix, there has to be ownership. And I understand that, and I own this, but I'm using it for the greater good of the community. But as things unfold, which they will, it will become clear to many people that, oh, actually, no, this isn't going to work. Then we'll sit down and we'll say, right, how do we now really secure this land for everyone? And then we'll open these trusts. And
It's a great vision.
absolutely. Yeah, but slowly. We don't want to run before we can walk.
Lots of work to do before.
Lots of work, yeah. Yeah. So as you can see, there's so many moving parts to this. There's the legal side, there's the spiritual side, there's the physical side. It's a whole new world. We're literally starting again. We're starting to rediscover and learn who we are, what we're capable of, what we can do, what we can't do. And putting it in practice, not just talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So when this reset happens, a lot of people are really going to, it's going to be very traumatic for a lot of people. Because they're going to lose a lot.
People are going to lose balance as well.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, they're going to fall. The unbalance has already happened.
Yeah, absolutely. It's starting now, but when it all crashes, it's going to be traumatic for a lot of people. And this is what a lot of the ancient scriptures talk about. In the last days, he who is last will be first, and who is first will be last.
That's it.
So all these people who've worked all their lives, and they've amassed this wealth, and they've got all these properties, and they're like, I've made it. And then it's taken away from you overnight.
It's not really theirs.
It's not yours anymore. And you're like, well, it's not fair. I've lost. I've worked all my life. But if you've had nothing and you've been struggling, you'll think, wow, yes, finally, we're all on an equal playing field now. And you feel like you've won. If you're renting a property before and you're struggling to pay the rent and you're living paycheck to paycheck, and the government wakes up one day and goes, which they're doing already, you don't have to work. We'll give you basic universal income, number one. Two, we've confiscated that house from the original owner. It's now declared martial law. You don't have to pay rent anymore. Live in there for free. You think I've gone to heaven. Like, this is heaven. But the owner of the house, the landlord, is going to think, I'm in hell. What's happened to me? I've lost everything.
Yeah, but they're still going to be aware of whatever matrix there is in. They made their achievements in there, which they can do in any other matrix too.
For some people, those who adapt, so someone like yourself who's conscious and aware, you will be able to do that. But most people out there, they're so programmed, they won't recover. They won't be able to adapt, again, because they don't know what the new season is. You see what I'm saying? So some of them might try and do it the old way, but it won't work. Because it's a new system. It's a new, if you're still looking for physical cash, it doesn't work that way. You need to understand how Bitcoin works. Or how gold works. Right? If you're still trying to hold property and you need to understand how trusts work. Everything is now air, trust. You can't be a physical owner. It has to be owned by nothing. Because we're in the age of Aquarius, which is air. So you need to understand how these things work. So if you want to become a property baron, start properties that are in trusts. Do not keep a property in your name. It's silly. It's suicide. It could be taken away from you. Knowledge is power. When you have the knowledge, you have the foresight, you can do things, then you're good. You can prepare and you can adjust and adapt quickly. So a lot of people in the Matrix have done well, but they've done well following the rules of the old paradigm. And these are the people that are going to suffer because they're not going to be able to adapt. They don't know how to adapt to the new world. Whereas the elites, they're already changing things. Already now you can see everything's changing. Money's changing. The way we live, social, you know, our social interactions changing.
The people that have achieved what they've achieved in that matrix are aware of their personal skills. They're aware of their value of pursuance.
Yep.
Their leadership.
Yep.
There's so many skills they have that they can take with them. It can't be that can't be taken away from them.
Yep.
So they can put that into another world.
But like I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you're spiritually ready for it, then yes, you can do that. But a lot of these people, because they're not, they're gonna have to go through the trauma of what's just happened, the stress, the anxiety, picking themselves up, and I don't.
Because yes, I understand. They're the ones that are going to go through all that.
They have to
first
go
of
through
all.
all of that,
So
and
the
a lot of them
transition, yeah.
won't recover from that
course,
stress and that
yeah.
trauma of what's just happened.
Yeah.
They won't have the constitution to do that because they weren't prepared. They were caught. What's just happened?
It's the ultimate loss.
Yeah, it's happened overnight.
And also the physical makeup in terms of eating this,
Yep.
not eating that,
Yep.
stopping the alcohol, stopping the drugs.
Yep.
A lot of these people with this money, they
We're going to turn to alcohol and drugs.
well,
Yeah.
how many people won't have the chance to because
Absolutely.
they're just going to get cut because their frequency is too low.
Yep.
They're going to have to reset.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And there'll be one or two, like you're saying, who are in the matrix who will adapt. Who will, oh shit, things are changing. How do I change? What do I do? But normally they've already done some spiritual work. They've reached some stage of spiritual understanding, and oh, okay, they can adapt. They're not impacted so much by that shock because they've already done the work. But most people haven't, especially people who've become successful because they've been so focused on the money, the physical, they've neglected the spiritual. This is why they drink and take drugs.
The world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So inside they're dead. And when the physical dies away and they're left looking in the mirror, they won't be able to face themselves. They won't know who they're looking at because they've been so engrossed in the physical.
Yeah.
But like yourself, you've done a bit of work in the spiritual, so if you lose everything, it's not a big deal for you because you're like,
really not,
I know
no.
myself. I
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
I can
go.
adapt. I'll do something else. I'll transfer my skills to this, or oh, what's happening? Oh, these people are doing this
Change
over
is
there.
always good.
I'll change. We'll
always
shift.
good.
But you've already done the work. You've already done the work. So it's easier for you to do that. Most people haven't. And they will be reset. They will die. Some will commit suicide. Some will die naturally because of stress and whatever it is. Which is happening now. People are losing jobs
so
and
many suicides
businesses
this
and
year. Oh my God.
suicides. Yep, it's
Yeah.
happening already.
Yeah.
Losing their minds, being sectioned,
Yep,
losing their freedom because they're doing criminal activity.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Adaptation. Got to evolve and adapt. And this is what we're trying to do here. Evolve and adapt.
You started it.
Yeah.
You started something amazing.
Yeah, and we just want to invite as many people as we can to say, look what we're doing. Come join. Come be a magnet, like the Bedini wheel. Come be a magnet. And the more of us magnets get together, the stronger the field will be. The stronger we become. Whatever you're bringing, whether it's financial resources, whether it's skills, whether it's knowledge, it's adding to that field of energy. And we will just get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until we're too loud to be ignored. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's simple and it's beautiful. Like I'm saying, it's a game. Once you approach life as a game, it really is a game. We're in a video game. And it's just now the levels are changing. You just got to know the cheat codes. That's what we're doing. We're figuring out the cheat codes. Oh, that's how land works. Oh, that's why the governments do that. So we don't need the government to trust the land. We could trust it ourselves. We could put it under our own trust. That's a rule in the game. That's a code. That's a cheat code. Oh, let's do it. Oh, we could feed ourselves. It's really easy. There are people who know about this. That's a cheat code. We're self-sufficient. And then once we get to a certain stage, like we're saying, we're free. That's true freedom, where you don't need anything from anyone external from you. Everything is, you have it. You have your own food, you have your own water, you have your own shelter, you have your own abundance. You're free. You're free. No one can tell you anything. You own your land. It's in a trust. Complete freedom. And that is the name of this game right now, is those who can free themselves as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And those that free themselves again become the new elite. Become the new rulers,
Yeah.
if you like.
That was
Because
super stable.
they're responsible. they've given themselves the responsibility of looking after themselves. And those who don't have the responsibility, well, the government needs to look after you. If you're not brave enough already to look after yourself, listen to the government. Wear the mask, stay in your house like you've been told, do everything they tell you, listen to the government, listen to the army, because you're not yet old enough to look after yourself.
Simple.
It's that simple. Yeah. The ones that are going to be in hell are the ones who are saying, but I am old enough. Well, what are you doing in the house then? Leave. Leave. No, I don't want to leave. I don't. Well, then you're not old enough. Stay. But listen if you're going to stay.
Yeah.
It's like a parent in a house who's got a teenager. The teenagers say, I'm not listening to you anymore, mom and dad. Fuck you. I'm not listening. And they go, well, if you think you're old enough to look after yourself, then leave. But as long as you're under our roof, you follow our rules. As long as you're in my house, you listen to what I say. Which any parent would say. But if you think you're old enough to look after yourself, off you go. And that's why they won't touch us, because they know this. That's what they're doing. They're separating and say, those of you who think you're old enough, off you go, look after yourself. If you're going to stay in the house, don't complain. If you do complain, then we'll lock you up.
Yeah.
Choose. So, yeah.
Deep.
That's, I'll show you next door.
The land for south.
Yeah, the lamp is sale.
So peak for some people.
Yeah, there's also another property not far from here, which has got a pretty much exactly the same setup as here. It's a bit more established, and that's the same, and that's about 15 minutes away from here, and it's a really nice property, already set up, like I'm saying here. The problem with
That or
yeah, it's pretty flat. Yeah, I'll show you the next minute. Eddie's place is fantastic. It's a nice extension, but it's not set up for a community like here.
yeah.
So we're literally just buying barren land.
To extend, yeah.
Just to extend barren land. There's no infrastructure or anything. He's got a house there, but it's so dilapidated. It's
Yeah.
just want to bulldoze it and it's worthless. The only other thing as well is you've got these great telephone wires that run towards the back of the land, that run on top of the land, which is not ideal. But in the grand scheme of things, it just means that we're not going to live under those telephone wires. Everyone will just live on this side of them. And on that side, we can use it as workshops or storage or whatever it is. The telephone wires are. It's not the end of the world.
So you can have more of a living space here and keep
Everything that side, yeah. So we use the gardens, geodomes, more on that side. And as you can see, it's super private, which is why we loved it. There's no neighbours apart from Eddie next door.
What road is further down this road?
So if you follow this road further down, there's another village similar to that one.
Okay.
There's a village there, there's a village there, and there's a village down
So
there.
you're in the centre of villages.
We're in the centre village, so we're not completely isolated, which is great, but we're private,
Yeah.
very private. So that was important for us.
Yep.
You know, we don't want to be in the middle of nowhere, and
Of course.
you want to be connected, but you want your privacy. And also frequencies as well, like we're saying, the 21st of December. You know, these things are going to happen. We don't know how it will impact electrically. Apparently the last event that happened in 1850, called the Carrington event, all the telephone wires blew up, all the electricity blew up when this event happened. And there were fires and floods and all kinds of things. So I'd imagine if what's about to happen is similar to what happened in 1850, you don't really want to be in the city. It might be quite, you know, quite intense. So the more out in nature you are, the more supernatural you can absorb, you know, the magic of it. Yeah, so all this land that you can see there. So from where we walked, all the way, all this land, all the way to
Including the trees.
including the trees, the forest, everything. Going all the way back to where I was showing you the telephone wires, right at the back, all of it.
Wow.
It's a lot of that. I mean,
And where's the...
Oh, we could walk, but I don't know how far.
Just where the wires are?
Yeah, where the wires end, where they go round. So the wires are almost the border.
Okay, yeah.
They go around that way.
Cool.
And it goes all the way down. But yeah, if you're really considering, I mean, I could speak to Eddie and he could give us a proper tour.
Yeah.
And have a real proper look. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece of land, and also, like I said, the most important thing, water. So much water on this land as well.
And the other land, it's not visible, the one you're talking about from here?
Yeah, the borders are a bit obscure. You'd have to find out who owns the land and what the
Okay.
borders are, and get in touch with them, which we can do. You know, if we had the money and we're serious, then we could slowly start buying things out. So we'll walk here and I'll show you the land a bit better. But like I said, there's a place not far from here, another farm, and it is a beautiful farm, but it's a bit more expensive. They're selling for 350,000.
Is there already a house on the farm?
Yeah, it's got 4 houses. Lots of water. It looks stunning. It looks absolutely beautiful. And yeah, lots of land. But I kind of feel like if you had a choice, I think it's better to keep everything together.
Yeah,
Stay in one
yeah.
space rather than be separated.
I was just thinking the same,
Yeah.
otherwise it's two different projects.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why we're selling our other place, Pineal, the place we originally bought, which is only 1 hectare.
And
Well, we-
focus your attention on one spot.
On one space. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, up here we're going to build a temple on this hill. Big meditation temple.
Yeah.
Out of wood, yeah, just up here. So the land this is the border, this path. So this is our place, and this is Eddie's place. And you can see there's nice woods and trees here, which is really nice. Trees over here. That's all Eddie. All here, yeah. All this land. All this is us on this side. All this is Eddie on this side. This is Eddie's place. We're now on Eddie's land. But we won't mind. So you can see that they're better. So you can see the telephone wires, the electric wires I was talking about. So they're pretty much in the middle of the land. But, you know, there's all this space down here, and there's space on the other side. You just make sure that no one is...
And is this all the buildings on the land?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's where he lives, but that house is so dilapidated, you'd have to knock it down
Yeah, of
and
course, yeah.
start again, really, if you wanted to keep it. Or we just keep it as storage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or build. If you wanted to build and build a nice house there, then there's no reason why we can't knock it down and build something nice quite easily.
This is a good land.
Yeah, it's really good land. It really is. Yeah. So I think it's 7 hectares, like I say, 6 or 7.
So what are the laws? Would you have to build the same house again after knocking it down, or you could build any house you want? Or
Yeah, so you could either knock it down and build a house, same square footage, but to your own design. Or you could get an architect who could then, you could say, I want something different. And it should be quite easy. If there's already a house there, then redesigning and getting extra planning permission is normally straightforward.
in Portugal?
Yeah, really straightforward. So you could say, no, I want something completely different, a different house. You go see a lawyer, the lawyer would do all the paperwork. You get approved, and you could build whatever you feel like building on there. So there's definitely room. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, we're always flexible. We're never stuck in one field of direction. Like I said, we bought Pineal first, and we're like, this is where it's going to happen from. We'll extend, we'll buy all the land. And then Piona came along, and I was like, well, here's our family. And we're like, well, let's scrap that. All the plans we had, let's scrap, let's start again. Let's get something already done. Make it easier. Why build from scratch when we can buy something that's already done for us? So get rid of that. So no attachments. You know, my ego wants to say, oh, but you know, we bought this place and it's sentimental, but no, let that go. There's a bigger thing happening here. We bought this place. Now someone else might come and say, I've got $1 million. At this point, we can buy a village. There are villages for sale in Portugal.
Okay.
You could literally buy a village, literal village. In fact, we went to view one a few months ago. Lore. So you can go in and you could just buy a village, done already. 20 houses, you know, a church,
For
a
1 million?
chapel. Yeah, for $1 million. A chapel, a church, a village, a real village. There are villages for sale. Yeah, yeah. You can buy a village for 1 million. If that happened, we'd leave this. Well, we don't need this anymore. Let's move on. Let's sell this and let's move to the village. Let's make that the hub.
Where is that?
I'll give you some. I'll send you some
Yeah,
links.
please do. Yeah.
But there are places that you can buy input you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe how far your money can go. There are palaces, there are castles you can buy for, yeah, $1 million, $1.5 million. You can buy a castle with, God knows, 200 hectares of land or whatever it is for $1.5 million, $2 million.
Wow.
Easy.
That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Even not
If the money was there, of course it makes sense.
Not even like looking for one investor of 2 million, but raise 5 or 6 investors
Easy.
with, yeah,
Easy. Easy, easy.
the job done then already, isn't
Job
it?
done. Everything is
And that
is
would
there.
save a lot of time.
Save a lot of time. And then all we're doing is we're just adding on to infrastructure that's already there. You've got the land, you've got the buildings, you'll have houses people can move into straight
Yeah,
away.
exactly that.
All of that.
It's just all about growing the food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
growing the food. Just
Just
go in and start growing.
Yeah. What the actual main focus is what you're able to then focus on.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so potential is open and we're an open door. We're not stuck on this. But for now we'll concentrate on this.
Because you make
something else
What
happens,
you have. Yeah, of course.
we open that door, we walk through that door, we close that door.
Yeah, there's no
And that's
ego
what-
about it.
No, there's no ego about it. There's no attachment. We're looking at the bigger picture. It's not about the land or the property. It's about the vision. It's
Yeah,
about what we're
yeah.
building, the unit.
Yeah.
Not the land. We're not attached to the land. We're attached to the unit. The people that are coming together to create something on whatever land.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that's going to happen over there without the
Safe,
learning
secure.
of over here.
Absolutely. Stepping stones.
That's it.
Stepping stones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
you.
So, lots of potential. And that's the beauty of being in the position that we're in. So a lot of people who have money know this. But if you had 2 million or 3 million and you wanted to buy property, even if you saw a castle or a palace, which they are, and you could buy it, you'd be thinking, well, I need people to maintain it, so I've got to hire people, I've got to pay them. It's not feasible. As amazing as it would be to own a castle or to have a castle, it's not feasible long term, even though I've got the money to buy it. But what we're doing
Building
cuts
a
all that
community
bullshit
where-
out. Yeah,
yeah,
no one
cool.
needs to get paid anything. It's a communal thing. So you buy the land and the people are the resources. They're the ones that maintain it. And in exchange, they get to live in a beautiful space. They get to express themselves. They get to build things. They get to...
They're completely free.
Everyone wins. And if you're an investor and you've bought the land, wow, you've got people looking after your trust. They're people you can
With love.
trust
With
your
the love.
property.
With
With
love.
love. They're only going to add value to it. And even if you want to think in matrixy terms, even if things went back to normal, and eventually one day, 10 years, 20 years down the line, let's just say, by some miracle, things go back to normal, your property, no doubt, will be worth 10 times more. Because you've had people there working the land and building stuff, and you've had to put no financial input.
Mhm.
You've just had people doing it,
And you still be able to look after everybody.
and you still
Yeah,
be able
of
to look
course.
after
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So it's a win-win. You can't lose. You can't lose doing this. There's no way you can lose. There's no way you can lose. Everyone wins.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people are looking for this, what we're doing. A lot of people are lost.
Yeah.
And they're going, I'm not meant to be here.
Yeah.
I'm meant to be out there somewhere, but I don't know where to go.
Mhm.
You know, there are things I want to work on myself, but where? And there are people with money going, I've got all this money, but I don't know how to use it. I don't know where to put it. I don't know how to invest it. The world is crazy. What do I do? Well, you're over there. You're looking for this. You're over there. You bring them together. Oh, I'm winning. I now know what to do with my money. I'll invest it in these people, on this land and these people. And these people say, oh, great. There's someone who's willing to invest in us. I will give my heart. And I will really, you know, build on what this person is doing, because this person has seen, you know,
The
my
vision.
potential and my
Yeah.
vision. Yeah. And then everyone's working together for a common goal. And then we're really playing the game.
Mhm.
We're really having fun.
Yeah.
Unstoppable then.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Well, that's like the power of a mastermind group, isn't
Absolutely.
it? When brains come together and you create infinite intelligence.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, cheers, Martin. My feet are stronger now.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
well seasoned.
Yeah. But also we're quite careful as well. We're really careful. We've had people who've come and offered money and gone, I want to invest, I want to do this. But it has to be the right thing as well. If someone is coming and they're dense and it's all about profit and it's all about, and all they're thinking about is money, my investment, my. That's toxic. It will never work. It will collapse very quickly.
The energy
Because then you've
comes.
got a boss. You've got someone who's saying, I'm the landlord and I'm the boss.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And then people feel it in the community and they go, this is not for me.
Then
I'm not
they
here
leave.
to be a slave
Yeah.
or to be, you know,
Money is energy, man.
right? So people who are coming to contribute and share, number one.
Thanks, bro.
It's an investment of sharing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing of I'm the boss.
It's working together for a great
For a great purpose, absolutely. The right money is important. It's not just about grabbing whatever comes and oh yeah, we're expanding. So there are people that we have turned down and they couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, you know, we're not about the energy that you're bringing. So that's really important as well.
So you're expecting 30 people to be here soon?
Yeah, 30 people of
From all over the world.
From all over the world. Yeah.
Incredible.
We've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 that are here
Mhm.
officially. So yeah, another 22 will be arriving in the next 2-3 weeks. Yeah. And then we've got another 30 or 40 that are maybes.
Yeah.
There are people that are, oh, I want to, but maybe I've got a business.
Uh-huh.
Oh, do I leave my business? Do I not? Do I? Oh, I've got kids, but my
Yeah.
children don't want to come out and do this.
Mm.
Do I stay with my children or do I follow my heart? There are a lot of people in these situations where,
Yeah, everybody's at a different
Yeah.
part of the journey, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's crunch time. That's why.
yeah, you've got to make a decision.
Yeah.
So the people that are coming are people that were already, I mean, these guys, for instance, they were already living in their motorhomes, they were already traveling. So when this came out, they were like, oh, it's easy. We just drive there. We're already doing, we've detached already from the matrix.
I actually have a friend, he owns a hotel back home in London.
Yeah.
His actual plan is to buy a motorhome and travel around Spain. His girlfriend, who they've just had a baby with, was Portuguese. No, sorry, Brazilian. They speak Portuguese, so I'm thinking this might be a perfect place for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. All right. absolutely. There you go. I mean, if he's on the path and he's
Definitely on the path.
yeah, then
Definitely on the path.
it's quite clear he's looking for purpose and direction, and
Yeah, for sure.
you know, he might not even come join us, but if he comes and has a word, we might direct him and say, well, maybe there's something else that's.
See you later, brother.
Bye. Did you guys get some dates?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.